Hey folks, Eric the Old Jarhead here. This one's going to be kind of fun. As you can see, we got a big green tractor in here trying to pull in some logs. We had a couple 10-footers. The first one he's trying to yank in there is 32 inches on the butt end, and I think it was in the 24, 25 inches on the small end. Not a really big log, though it's an egg-shaped log. But it was too heavy for their smaller tractor to move, so neighbor came along and brought in his big green tractor and pulled it ahead for him. Not the biggest I've done for sure, but definitely a big log. But we're going to have some fun with it because we are going to push this mill to the max. We can do that.
Is that yours?
Yeah, it's not a very good one, but we bought it and found a couple properties when we were trying to figure out the property.
Got the lever.
I might have one of them at home with a long handle on it. I guess you can't do it with that. You can't do it at all. Oh, we got it. I wonder if we're going to have to put, we can grab a block of wood, Kim. Shove it in endways in there and hold it.
This way?
Yeah, that way. There you go. There you go.
Come in a little further, about a foot. There you go.
Now, next question is that you gonna lift that up?
Sure.
Okay.
I might need the chain. It might need the chain to do it, but we'll get it up.
4,400 pounds. That's not a lightweight machine.
It wasn't too bad, and then we'll pull in the other log and get into position so that once we do this egg-shaped log, as you can see, then we'll have the next one ready to go. What's that? Sure you can. Should be. It's always good. That one's going to be the fun one. This one won't be as much.
Followers.
Maybe. That's probably good right there. We're going to get into the big stuff now. All right, we get that log in place, and then it's time to get this one in position. And I didn't start off with the intent to mill live edge slabs out of this log. We'd got a lot of live edge slabs already, so I thought this one was going to get turned into either 4x4s or 2x or something else. And so I started working it down as usual. Now, these big logs do take a little work to get them milled down. You know, the usual, depending on the shape of the log, this one was egg-shaped. So if you're on the narrow width of the log, you know, you can roll it up with your side supports up all the way. take a cap cut and away you go. Not really an issue here, but you will see that we're going to get there, shall we say. And we got the toe board up. We're just trying to center the pith, trying to get an open face, a big enough open face that's going to work for whatever it is that we're milling. Usually what I do is I mill them down to a face, maybe a 12-inch opening face with flitches, just taking the flitches out. Then I can drop the head down 4 or 6 inches or whatever and kick that cant off the log and work the rest. In this case, I was just trying to get to a big opening face. So I did that. I got a really nice open face. Now, when you can do that on these big logs, it's going to make it easier to get 90 degrees by running it into the side supports. But you can see that I was only getting about 5 or 6 inches on the side supports there. But it's still enough. And you'll notice the front toe board is still up. That's normal. I raised the toe board for the first face, leave it up for the second face. That's going to give me a fairly centered pith, and I don't have to double check it all the time. Make those opening faces, drop the toe board like I did right there, and then roll the log again. Now it's going to get interesting. So you'll notice that I rolled at 90 and then I started rolling it again. Now, at this point, my philosophy was I've got the flat edge on the outside, which means I'm not going to have to worry about it. I'm going to roll my side supports down really, really deep, and you'll see that they're just a few inches off the deck. Then I'm going to push the log over those side supports. And when I go down to check that average height in the center, I'm also going to kind of peek and just make sure I can get by the left side of the log. You can see that the way those side supports are down like that, I'm actually underneath the edge of the log. On this side, of course, I'm still up in a round part of the log, so I've got plenty of clearance, no issues. We can run down, take a cap cut out, and you'll notice that that's a pretty big deep slab. I'm trying to get down to just the right face. Now I've taken that one out. I'm going to try to roll it again, and all I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get this log into a position that I'm going to be able to work with it. Right about that point, the customer asked me if I might be able to make some wide slabs for him. And so, hey, Semper Gumby, right? Always flexible. I'm going to go and I'm going to look and just kind of measure things and say, okay, this is where we're at here. If we mill here, this is what we're going to get, that sort of thing, right? So we're just checking the end and saying, okay, well, if we're at 24 inches here and you're looking for 27, you might be 27 in the middle. If I come right out of the center of the log, we're going to get some big, wide slabs. So we agreed to go ahead and do that. And you'll notice there's weighing on the bottom side here. That's going to come into play because this mill can only mill a maximum of 24 inches. And it's really like 23 and a half or 23 and 3/4. The distance between the side support and the outside band wheel guide is 24 inches. So you'll notice I roll those side supports down into that weighing there, and then I push the log over it. And I'm using the side supports to catch the log right on the edge. And you can see I'm kind of working them, lifting them up, putting them down. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to push it over as far as I can so that it won't run into the left side band wheel guide, but it'll give me enough clearance on the right. And then, because there's still some bark and things, we're going to work the bark, work the knots off. All right, so then we go. We take a cap cut, as usual, right? Same old, making sawdust. Sawdust eaters unite. All right, and that one's just a thin one, no problem. Now we're going to come in and we're going to start to hit it hard. Boy, I moved the mill around a lot there. I came in a little fast right there. Sometimes, you know, you get in a little bit of a hurry, you come in a little bit fast, you knock the head around a little bit, but you get a chatter at the start, and that can be cleaned up. Now, on these big logs, it actually really is important to kind of slow down. I mean, if you've got a fresh band, you might get away with it like I was, but it's better to slow down, actually. All I'm doing here is I'm just trying to make sure that that far end is pushed over all the way. The log clamp is a little off center, and on big logs like that, sometimes it just won't push that far end over. So I'm trying to get as much clearance as possible because I am going to push this mill to the max. So take that cut, take a few more measurements, and I'm still trying to look at getting the biggest slabs possible I can get for the customer out of the center. They want flat on one side and then as wide as possible, live edge on the outside. So we're just kind of talking about it. And then I see some more bark, some knots. We're going to take the knots and the bark off. Any little thing that we can do to make sure that the head will slip by. And even if I've got a 1/4 inch of clearance, I can get by. But we got to make sure that you've got as much clearance as possible. And it's really hard to see. I don't have a laser. Can't see where that band wheel guide is going to run into. So, you know, we do the best we can to clear it out. Make a cut, come back at it, start making another one. Look at that. We're still got some clearance, but we are getting wide now, folks. You know, you're maybe an inch on either side, so you're looking at 25.5 inches, something like that. So now at this point, I'm going to push the head so the band is into the wood a little bit. And I'm going to go look at both sides and make sure, okay, we're looking good. And then the customer brought the tractor up, so we move the head out of the way. We'll get that top slab off, and then I'll go back to cutting. And they're so heavy, you know, you really got to push on those to get them off the log. It's crazy. Those are big slabs. They're heavy. They are monsters. All right, so here we go. We're back at it again. We're getting down into the wood now. We're getting into the wide part of the log. And remember, this was an egg-shaped log. So, you know, now you're starting to push it. I mean, that thing is too wide. Well, not really. But we did run into something here. And that's when the fun begins. When you run into something big like this, well, time to get the shims and the hammer out. And you can't just draw the head back. The sawdust builds up behind the band, so you can't draw it back. We'll whittle away a little bit at it, make it so we can get past it, and then away we go, head on down. This is a common theme when pushing the mill to the absolute max. Milling big slabs, it's fun. It's kind of crazy. They're monster heavy. It's amazing, you know, making bar tops and benches and tabletops and things like that. It's really amazing. You know, you're doing it on a mill that's rated to do like 24 inches wide, and you're milling like 27 inches wide. It's crazy, but you can do it. It just takes patience, creativity, determination. You know, I'm an old jarhead. I ain't giving up. We're going to figure it out. Get the chainsaws out, get the hammers out. We're going to make it work. All right, we're knocking them down now. Big slabs coming off the mill. And you'll see me periodically going out looking around. It's because I'm constantly trying to make sure I'm not going to run into something that I'm not seeing otherwise. It's kind of important to do that. If you can catch it ahead of time, it'll save you the heartache of having to get the wedges out and beating them in and trying to get the head back. Just barely making it. But we're getting it. Knocking them down. And by the way, folks, if you like this video, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit that like button for me. And if you haven't subscribed, you know what? Do me a favor, hit that subscribe. It's free, and I really appreciate it, and it helps me out. So if you do, hey, I really appreciate it. Oh, look at that. There we go. You can't win for losing on this one, folks. Barely got into that one. We ran into something. So out come the hammers and the wedges, and we're gonna clear the obstruction somehow. And you can see me tugging on the head, trying to get it to come back. It just doesn't. And you gotta be careful. You're gonna rip the band right off the band wheels. So you mess around with it, push it around, shim it up, beat on it, rock it, try to get it to move. Turn it on, clear out some of the sawdust, turn it off. In this case, I managed to get things cleared out of the way and get going again. Put in the debarker, just try to clear some of that bark away too. You know, sometimes even though there's no bark there, if you know there's a little bit there, you might try it. But got stopped up again. Now this is right at the max. You have to understand that this is beyond what they designed the mill to do. We are milling right into the maximum width that you can possibly get on one of these mills. And wood doesn't grow straight, so you're going to run into trouble. But as long as you are patient, you have shims and a hammer and maybe a hatchet, a saw, you know, you can go ahead and clear the obstructions out and sneak right on by, and it will make some amazing stuff. So not a wide head. If you've got one, you're lucky, I suppose. So we got down there. Now I decided to go ahead and flip that guy all the way over. And at this point, I figured I could go ahead and flip it over. I'd see things a little better, and I could take the final cut out of it. You know, after playing around a little bit and get the final slabs milled out. But I did notice when I first ran the head in that it was a little bit, it was just a slight angle right there, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and knock that off, that one corner that's gonna hang me up. And again, you know, you're talking a corner there that was probably right at 28.5 inches. And so I had to just knock that off enough and get her down to where it was down, you know, to around 27.5. Then I can slip the head by. And it's just a game of trying to get every last quarter inch of width you could possibly get out of a log. Good times. I'll tell you, these take a long time. Milling a big log like this and trying to do live edge, big slabs, super wide, it is going to take a lot longer than just knocking her down, building some cans and milling those down straight. But it's fun stuff. And the end result is absolutely amazing. It's beautiful, beautiful blue stain pine. It's going to make an awesome bar top. Look at that blue stain. Isn't that gorgeous? I love that stuff. That is going to be beautiful when he's done with it. Cannot wait to see what the customer does with that. And there you have it, folks. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 slabs. There was, I think, 2 3.5 inchers and 5 2.5 inch slabs. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Y'all have a great weekend. The old Jarhead out.